I am going to play 100 games of Irelia in ranked with zero prior experience to prove you can learn her too. I am a diamond support main, and I'm going through a bit of a rough patch on my main account. I primarily play Blitzcrank, Twitch, Brand, and Xerath support. I am not a mechanically gifted player, and I have played League of Legends since Season 1. I have years of bad habits that I'm still working to fix, but I've started to take a more objective look at my own gameplay and stopped blaming my team when I have a lot more to work on. I know what you're thinking. Why pick Irelia? Why not just play a consistent support, learn the meta picks, and adapt my playstyle accordingly? Well, honestly, I just don't want to. I love Twitch support, but he's not exactly strong right now. And if you're an ADC main, the idea of having a Twitch support on your team probably makes you sick. My ADCs in solo queue are sure to let me know. But again, why pick Irelia? In my opinion, Irelia is a main character champion similar to champions like Riven, Draven, Yasuo, Rengar, etc. They're champions that excel at fighting, flashy plays, and something that League does better than any other game: the outplay. There is something so extremely satisfying about mechanically outplaying someone in League of Legends. It's literally like a shot of adrenaline straight to your heart. It's just so incredibly hype. However, I've always been a player that didn't think I was capable of learning a flashy champion. So I decided I would force myself to learn one, and if I can learn Irelia, then you can learn that flashy main character champion that you've been putting off all this time. Starting off, I am using an account that I've played on and off to try new champions on for a few years. I placed into Gold 4 and I'm currently sitting at a negative win rate: 14 wins, 15 losses. I have a KDA of 1.64 to 1, and I average about 7 kills per game, 6.5 deaths, and 4 assists. I clearly have a lot to work on. I will be playing mid as my primary and top as my secondary role. I'm not off to a great start, but my first 29 Irelia games have taught me a lot. First, my CS is actually pretty good. Playing support and actively thinking about wave management for years has definitely given me a solid starting foundation. I am able to get decent backtimers in most of my games and prioritize plate gold, punishing bad backs from the enemy mid laner, and staying focused on what Irelia wants to do instead of what my team wants me to do. However, the 6.5 deaths per game is a problem that needs to be fixed. A lot of these are coming from limit testing, which is an important part of learning a champion, but at least half of these are completely avoidable. I just didn't understand the gank timing, I wasn't tracking the enemy jungler well enough, or I simply misplayed. Which brings me to the elephant in the room. I know I need to work on my mechanics. I knew from the start that Irelia was considered a mechanically intense champion that would take a lot of practice if I ever wanted to do a mechanic kid combo or live up to Young. By the way, if you want to see some great learning content, please check out both of these creators. I'll link their channels in the description. But I didn't expect some of her basic mechanics to be so punishing. If you misjudge your Q and don't get the kill on a minion, you might embarrass yourself. I certainly have. If you miss your E and don't hit the stun, yeah, you're probably just going to die. And don't even get me started on the ult. I have so much left to learn if I ever want a chance to perform in team fights, especially in the late game. The last thing I know I'm struggling with is simply matchup knowledge. Like I mentioned earlier, I've died a lot limit testing, but I know it's an important part of learning a champion and learning a new role. But I didn't expect to have such a hard time with some relatively straightforward matchups. The matchup I've been struggling with the most is actually a champion I never would have considered difficult until I started working on this video, and that's Vel'Koz. I know it seems simple enough, just dodge his knockup and dodge his Q, how do you ever die? Well, because I'm terrible at the game. What is with his true damage? He goes from being a useless pool noodle level 1 through 5 to being a creature that haunts my dreams and turns them to nightmares at level 6. I just don't know how to play against him post 6 if I don't have a large lead. But that's okay. I expected growing pains. I never expected to master the champion quickly, and I didn't even expect to do well at any point on Irelia. But I can definitely tell I'm improving, and all I can say is I'll try my best, vote no on every FF, and see what the next 70 games have in store for me. If you've stayed around to the end, I really appreciate it. I'm new to YouTube, but I'm excited to start making more videos. I plan on using a VTube model, but I'm waiting for the commission to be finished. The due date is set for September, so it's going to be a couple months. I'm going to use the rest of the video to talk a little bit more about myself. I'm in my early 30s, I've played League of Legends since Season 1, and I've played it on and off throughout the years. I love League, and it will always be an important game to me that has changed my life in so many ways. But my favorite games to date are probably from the PlayStation 2 era. Once my VTube model commission is finished, I'd like to mix in some JRPG videos along with my League of Legends videos. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll also post a link to my Twitch channel and a Discord that I've recently started. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video, and remember, if I can play Irelia, you can too.